Happy Valentine's Day, and welcome to the Requel podcast. So, this month on the Horror Report from our Patreon, if you're part of the $1 Krypton Report Patreon, James Cole and I do a show called the Horror Report, and on that show we review horror movies, but we started our first season with a holiday theme. And this was the 2001 film Valentine. Well, we're here to pitch the remake today. So, I took some notes because I feel like the bones of this movie, once again, is good. But there's some things that need to change. And it feels like this year we are getting the Heart Eyes serial killer set on Valentine's Day. And it's kind of coming back, so we thought we brought this back. But let's reevaluate in the pitch. So let's make it in a small town. Not like they're in some city or whatever. Just a smaller town so we can kind of control the environment, right? And instead of college, like they're kind of alluded here, let's make them in their early 20s. Not all of them. And mid to 20s, maybe late 20s. And there's 5 girls, right? So one, I think, should be in college getting out of grad school. One's a parent. And one doesn't still live in this town. Okay? And she moved away. And she's the first kill. Before the holiday. And what we want to do is not make them all blondes, make them distinguishable, and maybe make the dance where he gets rejected, because the premise is about Jeremy being rejected and humiliated and everything, which is fine and sucks and plays on bullying and everything like that. Let's make the opening a little bit longer, a little bit more detail. Let's do a better job of showing you who is who, because we so quickly introduce these kids' names, and then all of a sudden we now have the adult version, and they all look the same, basically. Let's make them a little bit more distinct to help. And let's make the kills a little bit more interesting, because some of them are really lame and boring for this type of film. But let's bring in the story where maybe it's the freshman Valentine's Day dance instead of middle school that this happens. Okay? And then we jump ahead, and now it's Valentine's Day in this small town, whatever, and there's like a Valentine's dance that's happening that's like a big deal, like in the town. And it's kind of like how, everyone's trying to find a date for the dance of Valentine. And you have the woman who's married, and then you have one who's trying online dating and finding someone, and they're all getting the different Valentine's Day cards and messages, and they're all signed, "Your Valentine." Okay? And there's more of that. And then, like, for a theme, the killer, if you were watching this, the killer would never wear white, red, or pink, Valentine's Day colors. I understand that in the film, the nosebleed is a sign, is to give it away for the twist at the end. But we need more red herrings. We need more characters to allude to that could be the killer, because it really it tries to do a fake out at the end where you think you know it, and then you don't, but then you really do. And we didn't have enough people and enough suspects to really figure out what's going on. So we need more people. But the idea of like the hopeless romantic, the stereotypical slutty girl. Let's see what else in my notes here. Not one of them needs to be rich or anything like that. Like, it just needs to be very much taking it back to feeling normal. and more of a mystery, because, I mean, it is a Scream ripoff, let's be honest. So let's play into that a little bit more. The mask needs to be like in the original dance, almost like it was a decoration or something that we saw. That's why there's an imagery, and the killer needs to have maybe like a jacket that has like a heart or something on it, so there's more than just the mask. Maybe they leave the mask and has multiple masks at each kill or something, like a call sign with a flower or with a Valentine that says something like, "Guess you weren't mine," or something like that. But the nosebleed thing means that there would be evidence at every kill and DNA. And in the way this movie is paced, like, you basically have like a kill, then time later, a kill, and there's no sense of like what day it is. Is it Valentine's? They talk about Valentine's Day, but we don't get a sense of when it really is going on. And then like all the last kills all happen at this party at one house, all right after each other, like boom, 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 boom. So we need to space that out. And just make the killer more interesting, because they all feel like annoying adults that you don't really care. Make them people that we care about, who seem like regular average day, and play into the love themes, and everyone's searching for love. And we had the character of Dorothy, and the ending of the movie kind of falls short because we don't get any scene where like the police show up or anything like that, where they're like, "Oh my God, it was Dorothy all along." And like we see the media and people, and that was something you could play around in the remake, is because the killer pins it on her because she was the one that pinned it on him and was actually the worst to him, and really show the parallels here and make it more of a mystery of who it might be. And then, you have the turn where they figure out it's Jeremy, whatever, and then they start researching it, and like we have the scene with their facial recognition and all that, what it could look like. And the plastic surgery line's quick, and that's great early, but then later on they say it again, and they have a stupid scene about it could be Campbell, it could be Adam, and it kind of like, okay, so it gets a little too much. But when they're messing around with the faces, it kind of needs to resemble maybe another actor or two that's planted, especially in the speed dating scene. It can be fun to make some of them like red herrings. But all in all, like, I think the bones are there to make it more of an interesting thriller horror film with the holidays, because those were always interesting and fun to do. And there was the one kill that was neat with the arrows. There need to be more things like that, because some of them were pretty lame. It feels like a very small, cheap, like barely rated R. Like, I know how it's rated R. I mean, there's not really language or gore. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's PG-13. I need to check. But anyways, the pitch is for Valentine, the forgotten film from 2001. And make the mask porcelain. I just feel like that would be creepier, for the Cupid. Happy Valentine's Day. Enjoy the pitch.